Hi, welcome to this week's video, which is talking about one of the things that's probably, I would say, very, very difficult, if not the most difficult of being a leader, which is what do you do when you lose a top employee? And let's face it, as leaders, we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building our teams, ensuring that our teams are engaged, making sure that our employees are getting the coaching and the development and all the things that we need to be doing as leaders to keep them engaged. But inevitably, we are going to all have employees that decide to move on, either for greener pastures, or because they've been headhunted, or because maybe they're doing a complete U-turn in their life. There's a lot of variety of reasons why people leave a good job or a good situation. So this week I wanted to share with you, what do we do with that? Because there's an opportunity with this, because I would consider it a disruption. When we lose a top employee, it's a disruption. Like, everything changes, as you know. Processes have to be relooked at because this person did them a certain way. Finding the right person to fill that person's role is another challenge that we have to face. And so, typically with notice, we don't have as much time as we'd like to really fill that space, but it gives us a couple of opportunities. Number one, if you have been preparing for succession planning and if you've been grooming and coaching your teams, you will have that person to slot into that position right away. But if you haven't done that, there's still hope, and that is to really take the opportunity to now look at the job that employee did through new eyes. So first thing you would do is take a look. If your company does do exit interviews, I highly encourage you as a leader to be willing, with a really objective mind, to look at those exit interviews and to see what did that person say about why they're leaving. Sometimes it's simply that they wanted a new challenge, or as I said, they're doing a complete U-turn in their life, and it has nothing to do with you or with the organization. Other times, though, they do have things to say in an exit interview, such as my leader micromanaged me, or the company culture wasn't what I thought it was, or I got tired of holding the weight for the team, or whatever it might be. Now, those exit interviews, in my opinion, are gold mines because they give you information of how to be better and do better in the future. So the very first thing you would do if you lost a top employee is to review the exit interview. If your company doesn't do exit interviews, doing a post-interview yourself through survey, or if everything was amicable and it feels like it's appropriate, you want to find out more about how you could develop as a leader. That's the primary reason for this. Second to that, as a leader, what we really want to do when we look at both our wins and our losses, and this is both, it's a win and a loss. In other words, you built that employee to be a top employee. It's a loss because they've moved on to something else. But we have to not take it personally. It's not a personal affront when someone moves on. It's simply a life choice. It's a choice to do something different. And so we've got to really be objective and see it from that lens. And we also have to be willing to see the lessons learned. So, for example, if we did find out that this person felt that we were, too controlling or micromanaging, that's a great opportunity to take that as a lesson learned. Okay, let me look at how I interacted with that employee. Let me think on the times where, yes, I could be perceived that way, and really take it to heart as an opportunity to learn and grow from what that feedback was. And really importantly, when we have somebody that's a top talent that leaves the organization, a lot of times perhaps that person's told others before leaving because they've got their work relationships. If they've done that, there's going to be sort of an undercurrent or a sense by people of what the real story is. What we want to do is we want to make sure we're in touch with the team and that we're communicating clearly, openly, and transparently. So I would suggest two things. Number one, having a team meeting and saying, it's unfortunate that so-and-so has left us. She was phenomenal. She brought huge value to the team. We'll always be grateful for what she brought. She helped us move forward by doing this, and this, and really praise and acknowledge the contributions of that person. Then say to the team, we're going to have to reorganize as a team, and we're going to have to adjust, and it is a change, and we're going through the transition phase of a change when this happens. And I want to make sure you understand that I've got your back as a leader. I want to make sure that you understand that we're going to ensure that we put the right person in that spot after doing a lot of due diligence and research and making sure it's a culture fit. And thirdly, if you have any questions or if there's any gossip or things that you think are important that be outed, please bring those to me and let's share them as a team. Open dialogue. If you're even braver as a leader, you might want to take it one step further and say, I did pay attention to the exit interviews. I have done my own follow-up on what I could do better as a leader, and I am going to be working on those things that I've learned about myself. If you were to do all those things, what you're doing is you're acknowledging the contributions of that person that is left, but you're also saying, I would like to keep us open in order to stay on the same side of the same team, and you're also reassuring about the process of what the team's going to look like in the future. So it's really important that you as a leader see it as an opportunity to grow, that you don't take it personal, and that you treat it as an opportunity with your team for your team to grow, to expand, and to operate together even better than before. I hope you enjoyed this week's video.